Welcome to the first official devlog of the Red Forest. I've been working on this game on and off since 2019, and I want to say this is the first official devlog. I'm going to call it Devlog 0 because I've restarted this game a couple times, but this time I feel like I finally found all the pillars that I wanted to cover. The Red Forest is inspired by Dark Souls, Legend of Zelda, primarily the Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess series, where the graphical inspiration is definitely Twilight Princess and like the overall aesthetic and mood. So I first started making this game in Unity, and I was trying to learn how to program. I was very new. I had never programmed anything before, especially in Unity. And I felt very lost, and so I switched over to Unreal, and I ended up falling in love with the node system. I first envisioned this game as top-down, similar to like a Undertale vibe, where like it's gonna be turn-based with minigames. But the more I fleshed out the project, the more I was like, no, I think this game needed more. So I looked around and someone told me about Octopath Traveler, and so I was looking at their gameplay and I was like, oh, this is really cool. I kind of want to do this, but I took it one step farther and I decided to make it a third-person game, and I ended up falling in love with that. I created this level, the coffee shop. When I made the coffee shop, I could just envision, even though there's really not that much to it, so I can at least see it a little bit in my head of like, okay, this is how I want it to be, even though I just folded some of the sprites, and it's really exciting. So the gameplay of the Red Forest is going to be very similar to Dark Souls and Twilight Princess, where you have pretty free movement, and taking a little bit of inspiration from Dark Souls and Twilight Princess, where as you go through and complete dungeons, you'll get new weapons and you'll be able to use them in different ways. This is a trial. This is one of 4. So once you go inside of a trial, you'll be able to test your skills and you fight a mini-boss. And once you fight that mini-boss, you can possibly obtain their item or somehow get an item somewhere in that trial. And throughout the trial, you have to use that item, similar to a Zelda dungeon, where you have to escape to solve puzzles and use the item in order to fight the final boss. Alright, quick summary of what this game is about is you visit a laboratory that had been previously melted down, and you take a tour of that laboratory, and on the way back your tour bus crashes and you see your brother getting dragged into the woods. So basically the point of the game is to try to find him, and doing so you meet many monsters that are infected by this corruption that's happening within the forest, and you learn a lot about a lot of the creatures. And one of the main things that I'm inspired by is actually Undertale's approach, where you don't have to kill everything. You can if you want, but if you do kill everything, then you do miss out on a lot of quests, and it can impact your ending. Actually, a lot of my game has been structured so you can have multiple endings. For example, if you help an old lady find her glasses, then you can have access to a quest later down the line that you otherwise wouldn't have. But that's kind of the approach that I'm going for. Also, I have an opportunity for, if you can kill a boss, or you can cure it with a medallion that you were given by one of the NPCs. But if you choose to kill him, you'll still get his weapon, you'll still acquire his drops. But if you cure him, then you'll have access to the weapon, he'll give it to you, and he'll actually be transported to a safe house where there will be quests available to you and more secrets that you can uncover if you decide to save him instead. And so it's just cool stuff like that, where like all your choices matter as a player, and that's one of the things that I want to really emphasize in this game, is that every choice matters. Like everything you do impacts the game, and that's kind of the approach I've had since like 2019 when I was creating the story for this game. So level design, I'll give you a brief tour of everything that I've done so far. Besides the trial, which you'll get a boomerang ability, it's not any boomerang. You can actually, or you have a arcing path where you can either throw it or you can throw it and then teleport to it. and that's going to be a really fast acting ability that you get from this trial, and it's a really fun design. I had a lot of fun designing this boomerang. So besides the trial, I've been working on the cemetery. Within the cemetery, there's a hidden side quest that you can do where you could see an exclamation point of an unknown person underneath the tombstone. When you interact with it, you can talk to it and he asks for help, and you could decide whether or not to help him or not. You solve a puzzle in the cemetery, and then tombstone opens and you can go in. You can experience your first mini dungeon. It shows you the climbing mechanics and it shows you the rope swing mechanics. And then at the very end, before you get to the creature that you're saving, 3 skeletons will fall from the ceiling and you'll get an introductory to battle mechanic. And this area is just like an extra step in being able to learn the mechanics and put them into play, put them into practice a little bit. And in the cemetery itself, here is a boss that you can actually choose to fight if you want. He is massive, so you can either sneak by him and not get detected, or you can try to fight him, kind of like the tree sentinel in Elden Ring, where you don't necessarily have to fight him, but a lot of times when people first start the game, he's right there, he's right in front of you, so a lot of people try to fight this sentinel and get humbled immediately. So that's kind of the purpose of him. I made a rough block out of the level. There's going to be a little campsite that I blocked out, and there's also a safe house, and that's kind of similar to the Deku Tree in Wind Waker, where it's actually a very safe place. It's where you meet your first NPCs that are friendly, besides the Vorak, if you do meet him first. And once you're introduced to the safe house, this will be where all NPCs that you cure will go. And there'll be crafting, there'll be upgrading weapons here, there'll be quests, there'll be a lot of hidden secrets in this area, and I will be starting that area next after the cemetery, so stay tuned to see the progress on that. I'll probably post YouTube shorts for like minuscule updates on that. So far we have like a village, and then we're gonna have like a lake area with a couple dungeons, and I have a lot of planned things, but I don't really want to share them just yet. I'd rather show as I make them, kind of keep it a surprise for everyone. This next area I've been working on is the eye tree zone, and it's just a massive tree with eyes, and there's going to be a guardian that you have to fight. Her name is Noxious. Once you fight her, and you can cure her or kill her, it's up to you. You have access to the eye tree dungeon after that, and you get a weapon from that I will not tell you yet, but it's pretty cool. But yeah, this is a rough draft of the world, and lately I've been working on the dialogue, inventory, weapon system, and ability system, kind of like working a little bit on each thing so far and like tying it all together, like weaving it together as I go. Definitely more to come. I want to release shorts as like minuscule updates happen, but if you think this is interesting, you can follow me and join me in the process on this game. This is definitely a dream game that I've been working on since 2019, and I think this last few months I've finally found the pillars that I want as like a really good foundation. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.